Welcome back to the Driveway Beers podcast with Mike and Alex. As always, we appreciate you listening. Please rate us on all the podcast platforms. Like, subscribe, comment, share wherever else you're listening, and enjoy the show. All right, welcome back to another episode. We appreciate you coming back as always. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share wherever you listen to the show. Or if you're on the podcast apps, please rate us. You can rate us a 1 like Benny did, or you can rate us a 5 like everyone else. Want to thank Adam Chubbuck with TACMD.com, Douglas Realty in Pasadena, Maryland, TACMD.com. That's TACMD.com. In this ever-changing world of real estate, you need to have a professional at your side. And not all real estate agents are created equal. The reason why I work with Adam is because I know he's going to have my best interests in his decision making, as far as what he shows me, what he presents to me, what he advises me to do. I know it's going to be with my best interests at heart, even over his own. It's going to be the right situation for me, which is why I go with Adam. And I highly recommend that if you're in the Maryland, Virginia, DC area, Delaware area, I also believe he works in, that you want to go to TACMD.com. That's TACMD.com. At least talk with Adam. He can give you good advice on your situation, whether you're buying or selling, whether it's a residential or investment property. You definitely want to talk to him about it. Now, we're after the holidays. And so Mike and I got my mother and he got his in-laws. We're trying to bring them into what century is this? 21st century?
Yes.
Okay. 21st century as far as music goes. My mom's still using DVDs. Unfortunately, she still has the 5-disc DVD changer. And so yesterday, she had me go over to her house yesterday. And she just had a laundry list of like technology things that she needed me to do. One, she needed me to get her a new printer and set it up. 2, she had to, what was the other thing? She wanted me to set up the Bluetooth speaker we got her. So we got her, so the one on the table here, we use it for, when we do Zoom calls. I believe it's the Sony XB43 is the model number. They don't make it anymore. I basically got her the equivalent of whatever Sony has now.
Okay.
Not too big, not too small, but it puts out a good amount of bass.
Yeah.
These portable speakers nowadays are amazing.
Oh, sure.
So I got my mother one because she had one sitting on her counter in her house. But it was one of those like iPod docking ones because she still had her iPod.
And it had the old, like the big connection.
Yeah. Yeah. So she basically plugs the iPod in so it stands up, and then it's got like 2 speakers on each side. Mm-hmm. And that's how she would listen to music. But she was like, I can't add new music because
no one.
My computer doesn't do iTunes or what, because I got her a Chromebook, right? And like, I haven't used iTunes in forever. I couldn't really show her how to do it. Mm-mm. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to solve this problem. So I think it was probably about 6 months ago, you and I talked about like music streaming services, and I was wondering which one. I ended up going with Spotify. And so I did a solo account for like maybe a month, and then I got my wife. So then we did a duo plan.
Okay.
Well, for only $3 more a month, you can go from 2 accounts to 6 for only $3 more.
Yeah.
So, okay. We also wanted to get my daughter her own account that she could listen with her Apple Watch. Right. And we got her the earbuds so she can, like, when she's walking to school or whatever, she can put the earbuds in, listen to music on her watch, whatever, right? And I was like, well, we can put my mom on this now. And it's not going to cost us anything. So we got her the speaker. We set her up with a Spotify account that's attached to ours. And like my brother was the first one through the door he's like, look, you got it for her. I'll show her how to use it.
Right.
Like, good luck to you. And so I think it's too easy because she doesn't really understand the concept of, I could search for whatever I want and it just plays. I don't have to pay anything extra.
Right.
It's just there and plays.
Mm-hmm.
I think that concept to older people is just so foreign.
Yeah, they don't get there's no physical item that you bought. You're paying for the access to it, right? So back in the day, if you went out and bought a CD and you got your 12 songs or whatever it was, you physically owned that CD. You had to take care of it and you listen to it, but they don't understand that. Yeah, you don't actually own any of this stuff. You're just owning the rights to listen to it that one time. And, I think it's kind of, well, is it the radio? No, it's not the radio. It's not coming over the air. So
it's a very foreign concept.
Yeah.
And I know this is going to sound stupid, but I think I don't want to say they made it too easy to use, but it's really easy to use. Like all you got to do, like if I want to listen to Wham, I just type in Wham.
Yeah, you just get the WH; it's going to pop up.
Right. I mean, you don't even need the exclamation point. Which, by the way, the only reason I'm bringing that up, I watched Deadpool last night. So I was flipping back and forth between the games. But I saw Deadpool was on, and I started watching it, and I got sucked in.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those movies I get sucked into.
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
I still haven't seen them.
It's really funny. You can't watch it with kids, though. There's too many just swear words. And
So Griffin loves it.
Deadpool?
Yeah.
Did he watch it?
He puts part of it on. And we're kind of liberal when it comes to, like, ratings. Like, I don't let him watch, I don't let him watch X-rated or NC-17, but...
I'm surprised it's not NC-17. Because it has everything.
Yeah.
It's got all the swear words.
Yeah.
But it's also got like sexual innuendos.
Yeah.
Dick pics. like all of the Ryan Reynolds stuff. Like the jokes. Like the dialogue between him and the blind woman is hysterical, but vastly inappropriate.
Yeah.
So just an example, he gets his hand cut off. And he could regrow the hand, right? But it regrows as like a baby hand first. And so he touches the blind lady's face with his baby hand. She goes, "Why does it feel like a baby's hand's touching my face?" He goes, "Because," he said some line, and then he goes, "You're going to have to leave. I bet it feels huge in this." So, I don't think your youngest would probably understand what he's talking about. But
it's like when we were kids. Like, you ever watch a movie that you watched when you were a kid? Like, one of the ones that always comes to mind is Airplane.
Yeah.
So with Leslie Nielsen, and like there's the autopilot, and like the autopilot starts to deflate, and she has to blow it up, and then the autopilot has this big smile on his face.
Yes.
And I'm like, when I was a kid, I just thought it was funny. He was like, "Oh, it's a blow up doll." Like, but then as an adult, I look like it's fun to go back and watch those movies again. Like Spaceballs, when that came out, we were kids.
I love that movie.
And then you go back and watch it now, and like Lord Helmets and the Schwartz and all this, like how they have to hold their ring down by their dick. And
when they first come up, they both come up, and then Blazing Saddles. That's one of the most racist movies ever.
Oh yeah,
it's hysterical. So yeah, I was over there trying to teach my mom how to use it. The funny part is, I think the most confusing part to her. So we also got her a Samsung tablet.
Okay.
Because she's got a Samsung phone. Mm-hmm. And she's watching like the Korean soap operas on YouTube. And I mentioned this last week as part of it, like just the joke with Jeremy when you were here. So she watches these Korean soap operas.
Okay.
But so she has this little phone stand, and she watches it at her like eating table.
Yeah.
It's like in part of her kitchen. And so we're like, okay, well, she's gonna watch this stuff. We got her a tablet, like an 11-inch tablet, and a stand. Mm. So now instead of watching on the small phone, she can watch it on the tablet and be a little bigger. But I think like the concept of Bluetooth just baffles her mind.
Yeah, it's not. But you need to. How do you connect it to?
Right. So I connected the speaker to the tablet and the phone, and she's like, "Well, can you come set it up for me?" Like, Mom, it's already set up. Just turn it on. She goes, "What do you mean? You haven't been to the house yet? I did it in my house at Christmas. I connected your phone to the speaker." "Well, yeah, but now you have to do it at my house." I'm like, "Mom, You just turn them on. It'll automatically connect.
Yeah.
And so, but it's that that concept, and then the whole Spotify thing. Well, okay, what if I want to listen to Michael Bublé?
Search Michael Bublé.
Just type Michael, and I'm pretty sure Michael Bublé will come up.
Right. Jackson might come up.
Yeah.
Bublé.
Yeah. It just press the plus button.
Mike and the Mechanics. He's going to be in there, though.
Yeah. But and then you go, well, how do I listen to it? Okay, so you tap on it, and it'll tell you if it's a playlist, if it's an album, or if it's a song. It says in Spotify, it says which one it is, right? And I said, you just press play, and it'll play. And if you press the plus button, you can add it to a playlist. What's a playlist? Like, son of a bit.
Well, see, but they've never made a mixtape.
No.
At least us, and even I'll go back. So our birth years were Zennials, right? We get the benefit of both Gen X. We had an analog childhood, a digital, probably young adult to adulthood, right? So Gen Xers all made mixtapes. We made mixtapes, so you'd sit there and I remember sitting there and you'd put the tape in, you'd have it ready to go. And the second your favorite song came on, you'd hit record, right? And record it and then stop when it was over and then wait for the next song. So you had this mixtape from songs you took off the radio. Then we, the millennials, when they were young, in their teenage years, because I was doing it in college, were burning CDs off Napster or LimeWire or stuff like that. You could burn a CD. But the boomers, they never made mixtapes. Everything was records. Like they were, because by the time people were starting to, they were adults when when we were making the first mixtapes from the radio. So they weren't doing that. So they might not understand the concept of, it's just songs you like. It's not an album. Like if you make a playlist, it's not, you don't take the album and recreate it, just listen to the album.
Right. They get the idea of the CD.
Yeah.
It's putting things on a CD that only the things that you like. Like you don't have to listen to all 20 songs that Eminem put out when not that my mom listened to Eminem, but basically I remember that one album he put out, it had 2 songs you wanted to listen to and 18 shit songs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you don't have to listen to the 18 shit songs anymore.
Right.
You could just take the 2 you want, put them on an album, and put your Michael Bublé on the album, and put your Michael Jackson on the album, and you can have basically you create your mixtape on a CD. Except
there's no
now,
CD.
There's no CD.
It's just a list that exists out there.
And you just tap on it. It's that accessible.
Yeah, because I have so many playlists. I have so when I lift in the morning, I listen to podcasts, right? I'm not in the mood for bangers but when I lift in the evening, I listen to Pantera, System of a Down, Disturbed, Korn, all that hate music.
Wait a minute. You didn't mention the all-time workout music.
What's that?
Rage Against the Machine.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, didn't know that needed to be mentioned. But,
come on. Every once in a while, I had to make sure it was in your playlist.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No.
Friends helping friends. That's what that's about. Yeah. People helping people.
Yeah. So that Rage is on there. Linkin Park. just stuff like that. But I'm not listening. But it's too. But then I have another mix that's more hip hop that I might do if I'm doing some cardio or when I don't really speak Spanish that much, so I don't do too much cardio. But now my dad, when he was alive, he was actually kind of with it because he worked for the federal government, and his job was it was international trade data systems, so it was all tech based. So he understood it, and he worked with a lot of younger dudes who showed him, and then my sister and I, so he had an iPhone before I did. Yeah. He had an iPod before I did. He was all into it. So
my dad was Android, and he was the same way. He was an early adopter for a lot of this stuff. He wanted to know how to use it.
Yeah.
And he put in the work to do it, and it was work because I saw that brain power working. My man was that shit. If smoke could come out of his ears, but he got it eventually.
Yeah. But then your dad was also involved. His career was he was doing a lot of technology and aircraft, and
he did a lot of aircraft, and I'll just say he did other stuff.
Yeah, but
stuff I can't say.
His head was there.
Yes,
my mother-in-law. So she got an iPad, and I don't know if she knows where it is, but she has one.
It's in the house.
Yeah.
She can just find my iPad.
But like, so when they're signed into iTunes, like all the same stuff, like the iPad's doing the same thing the phones do, it's just bigger.
Yeah.
So she was complaining that because they moved from, where they spent their entire life, they moved down south, and she missed the local newspaper because the one where they, like, all the stuff where they live doesn't mean anything to her. So she wanted the newspaper from home. She said, but I can't find it anywhere. No one will deliver. I said, you don't need it. Just go online and get the online subscription, and you can just read that newspaper from here. It'll come to you every day. Oh, so my wife sets her up with it, gets it all. So you just go here to this app, you pull it up. Like, it's not even have to go to a website. It's the app that that newspaper has. And it's that newspaper. It's everything. You can do the crossword puzzle on it. Mm-hmm. You can do the Sudoku puzzles on it. It's everything. We were down there like, God, I miss a newspaper. Like, wait, you have the newspaper. It's on your, no, but it doesn't come, it comes to your iPad every day. It comes to your phone every day. You have and then you can read every one that's ever been published in history. But it's just, they need that. I guess their world was like the physical newspaper came to your house. And look, is there something to having the physical newspaper? Sure. I'm the same way with books. Like, I go on the Libby app and get whatever book I want for free, but I like to hold the book in my hand.
I need the book.
Yeah.
I can't use a tablet.
If I'm on a tablet, what ends up happening is, like, I'll be reading the book on, the ebook. Then all of a sudden, like, a notification will come. So I play, there's this game, you've probably seen the ads, War Thunder.
Sure.
So it's like tanks and airplanes. So, like, my War Thunder app would be like, new airplane available. I'm like, ooh, F you, book. Stupid books.
A squirrel.
What have you done for me lately, books?
Right.
And next thing you know, I'm dogfighting in this video game when I should be reading this book.
Right.
So,
yeah, I need the pages. I need the paper.
Yeah.
When I'm reading a book. Now, I don't read a lot of books. I read occasional books.
Yeah.
It's weird though, but I'll read news articles on my phone. But when it comes to a book, and I don't know if it's because I want to know where I'm at. Like, I need to know, okay, am I a quarter done? Am I half done? Am I three-quarter? Like, where am I in this book?
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe it's just I need to get used to it. Because, like, I read news articles. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
It's weird when something pops up. If I'm looking for, say, I'm researching a topic for the show.
Sure.
Because you can see, we do a lot of research on this show.
That's right.
And I just want some quick information. And you post things up, and usually the first things that come up are videos. Like, I don't want to watch a video. I want to read it. I want to, that's how I want my information. I want it, and I'll read it on the phone. Like, I don't need them to mail me a newsletter or a piece of paper or go to the library and check it out. But I prefer to read it that way, and I can do it just fine. But when it comes to a book, I like the book. I like to actually have it in my hands and then keep it. And then it's in my little book collection. I used to be a voracious reader. In college, I worked as a security guard in a hospital.
Big words, by the way.
And
Voracious.
Good, right?
Jeez.
Word of the day calendar.
People might get educated on the show if you keep using words like that.
Well, I believe someone called it smooth brain. So take that. If you need to see, find a thesaurus. But I work in midnights at a hospital. Like, yeah, it got busy sometimes, but most of the time you're doing nothing. So I would just sit and read books, to devour them.
It's not like you were fixing the gunshot wounds, right?
No.
You were just making sure the guy who shot him didn't follow him in.
Right, exactly.
Going for the kill shot.
Yeah.
No, God, we can't have that.
No, not here. Wait till he gets discharged.
That's right, yeah.
You know what? Actually, you could save us a lot of time and effort had you worked on your marksmanship earlier.
Yeah. Nothing says you suck like you didn't kill him.
Yeah. You shot him 9 times, dog.
Right. Look, your contract killing days might not be for you.
I don't think you're getting paid out on this one.
Yeah.
But
where else can you make fun of murder?
But I had plenty of time, so I'd read books, and I was going through like 1 or 2 books a week is how quickly I was reading. And then I realized, like, wait, I could actually read my college textbooks and maybe do better in school. Nah.
By the way, my wife and my oldest daughter do that shit. Not textbooks. They go through books. Like I don't understand. Like I can't read that fast.
Yeah.
Like I'm one of those. I read every single word, and I ask my wife, like, how do you like? She'll give me something to read. Like, hey, read this, and I'm reading. She's like, are you still reading this? Like, yeah. Like, and she read like I'll show her something. She should be done in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, how do you read that quick? But my daughter does the same thing. I'm like, is this genetic? and like she didn't get my genes as far as reading goes because like I don't understand how people read that quick. But
I used to be a lot better, but I think all the screen time has kind of ruined me. You know, it's like because it's so easy to get distracted to do something else or watch or doom scroll through dumb videos. You know, so
dude, Instagram's my nemesis.
Yeah.
I love that shit, dude. They got some real. It's all feel good shit on Instagram. Like I don't unless I just don't see the negative shit.
Yeah,
I see all the fun stuff.
I like Instagram better than Facebook, and so I left Facebook for a long time, and then when I came back to it, it changed. So it used to be your feed was populated almost entirely by. It was just shit your friends were doing, whatever they were posting.
Yeah.
So if you were scrolling, you'd eventually get, depending on how many friends you had, you'd eventually get to the end of it, where you'd seen something like, oh, okay, that's old. Right. Now it just keeps going, and they're more putting posts and content in there that's based on all the data they've stolen from you.
I feel like it's a ton of ads, man.
It's all ads, and I'll look at like that's now some of the ads. Like people complain, like, oh, they use targeted ads. If I'm going to see ads, I want to see ads from shit I'm interested in.
I've bought some stuff from those ads, so it works, right? But like it'll be like 3 posts that are like 3 posts in a row are ads.
Yes,
rather than stuff from like friends.
But then I don't see. But what it does is I don't see stuff from my friends. Like I'll have to actually go to their. Like I haven't heard from this guy for a while. Let's see what he's doing. So I'll go and I'll post like, this dude's doing all kinds of shit that's not coming up because I haven't engaged with him. And so like some friends, like one of my Facebook friends, and I kind of know the dude. He is prolific post, and he's a Chiefs fan, which is also nauseating. He lives in the DMV too, so I don't always defending the Chiefs and this. And like, look, doesn't Chris Collinsworth suck off Pat Mahomes enough during the games? Like, I don't need to. I'm saying this right now because this will air before the Super Bowl. If the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, I'm not watching it. I'm not going to watch it.
Well, that game they had against the Texans, the 2 penalties that they called on the Texans defense, they called a hit to the head, which wasn't a hit to the head.
No, it was. The 2 Texans hit each other in the head.
Well, so that was the other one.
Okay.
The one where Will Anderson, like, kind of got him in the front of the shoulder pad a little bit. That was a 15-yard penalty on automatic first down, and that was on 3rd down.
Yeah.
So they gave him an additional first down. The one that you're talking about where the 2 Texans hit each other,
yeah,
I have a huge problem with Mahomes because he's the one that does this, and I haven't really seen other quarterbacks do this. On that play, he rolled out. He was running toward the sideline, sort of.
Yeah.
And then he cut back inside and slid sideways with feet first, sideways.
Yeah. So like his feet going towards midfield.
So like along the line of the field, not toward the end zone, across the field.
Right. So like his body was like parallel towards where the end zone or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. And then they basically called the penalty because he slid, and you can't hit a quarterback when he slides, right? I feel like once you start making cutbacks and other moves, the slide should be done. You shouldn't be allowed to then slide. Like the slide should be, okay, you're scrambling. You slide feet first toward the end zone.
Yeah.
Nobody can hit you. I get it. It's protecting the quarterback, whatever.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to fake slide. You shouldn't be able to make juke moves and then slide.
Yeah.
Just like if you're a quarterback and you're running out of bounds, you shouldn't then be able to cut back in and keep going.
Yeah.
Because once you run toward once you run toward out of bounds, defenders are laying off of you.
Yeah, they're coming off the gas.
Correct. And so this is only for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You can't take advantage of these rules that protect you. So once you make a cut, sliding is off the table. If you're running toward out of bounds, you have, even if you cut back in, you're considered out of bounds.
Yeah.
From wherever you made the cut.
Yeah.
So you don't even get that extra yard that you might have gotten. And sliding, you can only slide feet toward the end zone. And no cuts or no moves after you cross the line of scrimmage, no cuts or moves can be made.
Right.
You have to go in a straight line, slide toward the end zone.
Yeah.
Those should be the 3 caveats to that rule, because what Pat Mahomes does, it's kind of like what I think Kenny Pickett did in college too. He faked the slide and then didn't go down.
Yeah.
So he faked the slide, the guy backed off, and then he took off down the field.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's like a fake tag in baseball.
Yeah.
So like the runner comes and I'm in umpire school now, so I'm learning about all the rules.
I'm gonna have to call you sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't call me Blue. No, I have a name.
And his name is Robert Paulson.
Yeah. But like the dude, fake tag in baseball, you don't have the glove. You lay a fake tag on the runner. They think they're out now, so they stop, and that gives wherever the ball is coming from time to go and make the actual tag somewhere else.
Yep.
So that's kind of what that fake slide does. The defenders lay off the gas, and you saw it really well in I forget which playoff game. It was one of the games in Wild Card Weekend. Who did Washington play that first game?
Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So the snap count was off. The center had the snap count wrong and snapped the ball early, and no one else moved, and that was enough time for the defense to get through and blast the runner coming out. Like the game is so fast that if that defender comes off a little bit, that can be the difference between 3 or 4 yards. Which, when you're talking, trying to get that first down or get out of bounds, like whether that becomes 4th and 3 on the 25-yard line, or 1st and goal, it's a huge difference in the game.
Yep.
So that's I agree with I think once you've become a runner, you stay a runner.
Yep.
You don't get to revert back to I'm a quarterback now. Dude, you just broke that dude's ankles. Like, you're no longer a quarterback, Peyton Manning, like trying to truck down the field.
But that's just another reason I hate the Chiefs when Pat Mahomes does that shit.
Yeah.
Because no other quarterbacks aren't doing that shit.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's genius.
Yeah.
But I fucking hate him for doing it.
If Lamar was doing it, but Lamar doesn't do that. Lamar just freaking goes out. The ball's out.
Lamar, I don't understand this dude. He could probably be the best athlete ever to play the game. He's become a complete quarterback. You're talking 4,000 yards, 900 yards rushing, 4,000 yards passing, 40 touchdowns, 4 picks.
Yeah.
41 touchdowns. Sorry, I went over. The dude is a fucking freak of nature.
He's like a cheat code.
Except when he runs, when he's going to run, and when he goes, when he gets down, I mentioned this like last year or 2 years ago. It looks like someone shot him. Like, it's the most ungraceful get down I've ever seen. He very rarely slides feet first.
Yeah.
It's almost like it looks like he trips on a shoelace and kind of falls forward onto his knee.
Yeah.
And then the rest of him comes with it. It looks so awkward.
Yeah.
But
it's almost like when Pierce slid when he had that pick.
Yeah, or like that dude from the Bengals, like he slid and I think he tore his ACL because he got a cleat stuck in the. Every time Lamar goes down on his own volition, I think he's going to hurt himself.
Yeah.
It looks that bad.
Look, it's funny to watch him because he almost trips himself up sometimes.
Yeah.
And he goes down, he gets up, he's mad.
Right. No.
Like, if I had stepped 6 inches left instead of tripping over my own shoelaces, I would have had another 30 yards. And he probably would have.
And I know this isn't a sports episode, but can we get the man some pants that fit? 3 games. Do you remember the one game? He's literally holding his pants.
Yeah.
He's holding them up as he's running. And his explanation was, I felt a draft. And so I thought my pants were falling down, so I pulled them up. Okay. Can we get a little bit thicker pants so the man doesn't feel the breeze on his schlong, so he doesn't think his pants are coming down?
And the thing is, those uniforms now are so tight. Like the stuff these guys are wearing. There's a video I saw on Instagram, and I should have followed this girl because I went through, and I guess I just forgot to hit the follow button. So she's a girlfriend of an NFL. I think he's an offensive lineman. So she's asking him like about the jersey and how tight it is, and she get into like, so how do you get the jersey on? He goes, well, because I think he was putting something on, needed her help because it was so tight.
Yep.
So, well, how do you do this don't you do this every day? She goes, yeah, but there's people that help. And then she's like, well, what do you guys talk about? He goes, what do you mean, what do we talk about? They're just putting, and like she goes to the whole, what are their names? And he's like, well, there's Jason and Tyler. So what are you and Jason and Tyler doing? They're helping. Like, it's just a funny interaction. Yeah. But the shit they're wearing is so skin tight because they don't want anything to grab onto.
Yep.
When I played, it was the days of the huge shoulder pads and the baggier jerseys. And, you didn't really, but you still had to, you put the jersey over the shoulder pads and then the shoulder pads on it as one thing.
I used to do this one thing. I put the jersey on first.
Yeah.
And then I rolled the jersey up so it was above the buckles.
Yeah.
And then I would put it on as one piece, and then buckle, and then pull the jersey down and tuck it in.
Yeah. And then you carry your, you put the helmet up through the middle.
Yep.
And carry it by the face mask.
Built-in carrying case. Yeah. But, go ahead.
So, but yeah, if all their shit's so tight, why can't we get Lamar some pants that are?
It's not just one game.
Yeah.
It happened like in another game where I saw him like holding on to his pants, and like it was during so Hard Knocks did the AFC North, and it was like another episode after. It was an episode with about a game after the episode where he's holding his pants up. And he's like, I could have gotten more, but I felt my pants were coming down. Like, motherfucker, you're paying this dude $45 million a year.
Yeah.
Franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Dude's doing unbelievable shit.
Yeah.
Can we please get him some pants to stay the fuck up?
Yeah.
or something like, and then the other weird thing is like, it was another game, and all of a sudden like Derrick Henry gets tackled, and then he's like, as he's getting tackled, his pants get pulled down, and he's practically fucking bare ass double cheeks on TV. Like, what are we doing with the pants here, folks?
Who's your equipment guy?
Yeah, or like, so I remember the baseball pants debacle where they were like see through, and like they had to redo the pants or something. Like when the guys wore the white pants, they were see through because they went to some new material. Like, can we test this shit before we put it into action?
Beta test it.
Yeah, like at least use it in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
Before we go pro with this stuff, right? Like, because the old pants seem to be just fine for football.
Oh yeah.
Apparently now this year in the year of our Lord 2025, Lamar Jackson's pants don't stay up, and therefore he has to slow himself down.
Yeah.
Not the other defenders.
Right.
They're not slowing him down. His fucking pants.
Maybe Lamar's pants or maybe Lamar's moving so fast that the air is like the drag is like pulling him off.
Someone needs to get on this though. We can't be having pants slowing him down.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, no one else is apparently slowing him down.
Right.
So it's like the best defender on the field is Lamar's pants. Yeah. Like, and the weird thing is, like, they just did a morning, one of the local morning shows did an expose or a biopic on the Ravens head uniform lady, seamstress. They've got like a team of like 4 seamstresses.
Wow.
And so like they do like the heated pocket in the front of the jersey, like they have to sew it on, right? Because they only get like the base jersey, with nothing on it. Mm-hmm. So they get it's just a purple jersey.
Yeah,
they've got to sew the name on, they got to sew the numbers on, they got to sew the patches. Everything is sewn on by them at the place.
Wow.
Yeah. And so they show her doing the work on the jerseys. I don't know if there's really much you can do with pants because it's just lycra and spandex, basically.
Yeah,
But maybe, can we talk to the manufacturer? Maybe is it Nike? I don't know.
Hey, whoever's making these things,
because Nike fucked up the baseball shit.
Yeah.
or is it Fanatics or one of them? I don't know who it is. Whoever's making this shit, can we please get someone on the horn?
Yeah.
And say, hey, my man's pants are falling down. Can we find something to keep everything together?
Yeah.
So he can run freely.
Right.
Like he's really in the game, ball tucked under one hand, his other hand is grabbing onto his pants so they don't fall down.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't get to use the arm motion. If we had video, you'd see the arm motion of running.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, no, he got holding on to the pant leg.
And it might make him like, like it could be like differential thrust, right? Where it makes him turn like to the side.
He's got to run left. He's holding on the left leg, so he's got to turn left.
So he can't move as fast. So it's like on a twin engine airplane. If you lose your number one engine on the left, so on the left side, you have to trim it. But if you don't, the airplane's going to turn to the left because it's like, it's now it's just drag. So there's thrust on one side, drag on the other. So then the defenders can know that and cheat to the left.
I mean, never mind if they play the Chiefs. Never mind the fact you got to play 2 versus 1 because those refs are fun. Just put on a red ref jersey at this point. It's that bad.
Yeah.
Hey,
Have you seen that?
You're just hating.
Oh, and that's the thing. Like, they hate us because we ain't us. Okay. First of all, so many of these freaking, what is it? Red and yellow, their colors. They probably say it's something else. Like the Reds, I pissed off a Redskin fan. I was like, oh, what, like red and yellow? They're like, that's burgundy and gold.
How dare you?
They're ketchup and mustard. All these fake me out, Johnny come lately front runner, mustard and ketchup wearing Chiefs fans around here.
And of course, they had to show Taylor Swift during the national anthem. Yeah. They showed her with her hand over her heart.
Oh, so beautiful.
Like, why are we just showing, like, okay, you're telling me there's no other celebrity in the stands?
Right.
You've got to show, no, you're showing Taylor Swift. We get it. You want little girls to watch the NFL.
Yeah.
It's a big mind fuck. I get it. We know she's there.
Yeah.
She's been at all the games.
Yeah.
You don't have to show her. We got it.
Now, supposedly, she treats everyone really nice, and that's great. Because, like, the boys, they hate when they're like, why do we have to see Taylor Swift? And I was like, she was on for 2 seconds. Is it that big of a deal?
No, it isn't.
I just
hate the Chiefs, so I hate the fact they show her.
Right, and I'm tired of listening to the color guy in the play-by-play verbally fillet Pat Mahomes every play.
Chris Collinsworth literally probably has dribble coming out of his mouth.
Oh, he's got half a chub when he's talking.
By
have
the
you seen
fourth
those AI fakes where they have the calls and like Chris Collinsworth and they're like, Collinsworth like, God damn, look at that Patrick Mahomes. and then like the referees will be like, all hail the mighty Mahomes. A member of the defense will be summarily executed for looking in the wrong direction, looking side-eyed at Patrick Mahomes. Automatic first down and Chiefs win.
Oh, man. Back to parents and technology. So you were telling me about your in-laws.
Yes.
And how you try to bring them into the 21st century as well. Mm-hmm. And it seems like it went about as good as my mother's experience.
Yeah, there's some so I try to get them. So their new house that they had built has an integrated speaker system. The builder put it in. It's great. You can hook the TV up to it. You can hook through Bluetooth. Any Bluetooth capable audio player will connect to this thing. If you want to, there's also like S-Video and HDMI. Like you can connect pretty much anything. I don't think it has RCA, which is what
does anything.
Yeah.
By the way, for the children's out there, RCA is the red, white, and yellow plugs.
Yes. So, and then remember the other version? It wasn't RCA, but it was like
it was RGB. It was like 6 cables.
Yeah,
and it was like 2 per.
It was like 6 RCA jacks on the back or whatever, however it connected.
I feel like that was pretty short lived.
Yeah,
because then HDMI came out.
Yeah. So I look at this and I'm like, this is cool. How do you use it? They said, oh, well, I have to call the guy. And I'm like, you don't have to call the guy. You don't. Like, let me see.
I got to call Geek Squad, which is the builder.
Right. let me play with this.
He'll give me an appointment in 3 months.
So I figure it out, right? And I get, they did have, a guy had to come and hook one thing up to it, but it was a hardware thing. It was something that had to physically be connected so that it would work. Mm-hmm. But then once that was, I have to call the guy. Like, no, don't call anyone. Let me play with it. So I hooked my phone up to it. Got it working. I'm like, this is cool. I said, oh, well, how do I hook my CD player up to it?
Oh.
You don't. That's how you do it. You don't. Because she has this, remember the old Bose Wave system?
Yep.
And they were nice when they came out. A big noise from a small package. It was cool.
I feel like all old people. My mother had one too.
I have one in my basement gym. It was my mom's.
I had my mom's too. She was like, "Can you sell this on Facebook for me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
No buyers.
I threw it away. I said, "Oh man, nobody wanted it."
Yeah. So, and you could find it was like 3 easy payments of they'd advertise on
Those things
Fox
like,
News.
What was they $300
Yeah.
at the time? And they put out really good sound.
Yeah.
But you just can't do anything with new technology with it because
Right.
it doesn't have Bluetooth and
So-
no one has CDs. And
So I have my mother's old one in the basement gym. And what I did was I say the basement gym like I have another gym, like as opposed to the boathouse gym.
right,
I should just drop the basement.
my beach house, Jim.
So I connected. It does have like your standard, what is it, 3.5 millimeter jack, an aux jack.
Yep.
So I have that coming out of it with the lightning pin, the lightning connector adapter.
Yep.
So I just physically connect my phone to it. I listen to music, whatever on it. If I'm doing a podcast, I generally just use the speakers on the phone. But I still have one. But she wanted to connect that to this. I said, it's not going to work. Or I have to go out and buy adapters and stuff. I said, or you could use Apple Music. Oh, so then I go through the whole Apple Music thing. And I talked both my mother and father-in-law there. I said, hey, it's $14 a month. You both can listen to whatever you want to, whenever you want to. Well, what about my CDs? Throw them out.
What about them?
Yeah.
They're still round.
Like, are you going to put them in the trash for pickup on Tuesday or Friday?
You can use them as frisbees.
Yeah. So, I set it up. They're listening to it. She puts George Taylor on. I just want to fall asleep because it's. Oh, I love it. Oh. So
Never slept better.
yeah. So hook everything up. It's working great. We go visit a couple months later. Visit again, and the Bose thing's playing. I'm like, what? Why don't you? What the? I'm just trying. Like I'm like skipping, right? Like I can't compute. Like you have this better system here. All of the entire catalog of the music you own on your CDs, you now purchase for $14.99 a month, and everyone on your share plan can use it, which is just the two of them. Mm-hmm. But if they wanted to add somebody, they could. Like I have me, my oldest, and my wife, and actually I think the other two they listen to their little songs. They have it too. So this is perfect. Nope, hasn't been used since. Except the boys go in, and Logan connects his phone to it, and he's listening to Kendrick Lamar.
Yep.
Blasting it.
Whitey.
Because they have the speakers on the porch.
Yeah.
So now the whole neighborhood, like all their neighbors can hear.
Whitey.
You ain't like us. We ain't. Was it you ain't? Whatever. We ain't like you. You ain't like us.
Right.
This is blasting. I'm like Logan.
You fucking suck. You fucking suck. You fucking suck. In this hood.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. One of them is a Big Sean. Like, I don't give a fuck about you.
He's got the explicit versions on too.
Well, I personally don't believe in edited music. I feel that they should listen to the music as the artist intended.
I'm the opposite. I actually like the edited version. I like the radio edits. Which oddly enough, so we use Spotify, and Spotify doesn't always have the radio edit of a song.
Okay, so
That bothers me a little bit.
So I built a playlist for the middle school basketball team, so they can listen to before games. So he goes to a private school. There's the gym and they have a nice sound system in there, and they're warming up. I'm like, why don't you have music playing? Like they should, if you have the system there. So one of the teachers goes and puts her phone on there, and it's like Dave Matthews Band. Like no one's getting pumped up to go hoop with Dave Matthews Band. Like,
No, ants marching doesn't really get you get you jump just adrenaline going.
you need like
Ants marching, yeah.
yeah, you need hip hop. Like it has to be. So I make this playlist.
Or rage, but that's a little age inappropriate.
Yeah. So I make the playlist for them, and I go through and I find it's all current hip hop songs, and then some old school stuff that I threw in, but it's all edited. I did the same thing for the baseball team. I don't like the walk up music because no one does it right.
Yeah.
They don't understand, like, you have to cue the song. Like, the 5-minute intro is great and all, but the walk from the on deck circle to the plate is like 12 feet. They traverse that distance in 2 seconds. Yeah. Like, they don't need, like, you don't need the first 6 seconds of lose yourself 32 times a game.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
you lose the rest of it. Yeah.
But what I do is, when they're switching sides, like in between innings, half innings, and then pregame warm up, I have this big, huge playlist that just plays. And then once they play, it gets shut off. No one listens to it. And then again, when they're switching sides, it's this big, long playlist. But then you have competing block rockers because both teams are doing walk. Like, so you have to go find that person and be like, hey, are you playing this the whole time? Like, the home team gets, like, we have our, do your walk up music if you want, but. Like in between innings is
home field advantage.
Yeah.
You don't get to do between innings. No. Visitor.
But I throw songs in there for the parents too. Mm-hmm. So it's like, bangers from like when we were kids. I'll have like 50 Cent in there. Like, it was funny the candy shop or the magic stick.
I showed you that video, right?
Yeah.
Where the kid's walking up to Magic Stick that the mom probably picked, not knowing what it was. The kid's walking up and dancing. All of a sudden, the catcher out of nowhere starts dancing too.
Yeah. Like, you do know what the Magic Stick they're not referring to as bat.
No, not at all, Mom. You should have probably looked into that one.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because June over there is getting a little pissy.
But, so I guess, like, our parents' generation, like, they just get used to what they're used to.
Yeah.
And, like, they're used to having CDs. They need to have a physical object to put into the machine to make it do its thing. It is the 3-disc Bose thing, the add-on little changer that you put on top of it.
My class.
The other thing they don't seem to understand, and my sister-in-law is the same way, CarPlay. Like, you don't have to have...
Hold up. Your sister-in-law?
She still buys CDs.
The lady who we had on the show.
Still buys CDs.
Oh, yeah. No. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Is she a millennial, though?
Yeah.
She's younger than...
Oh, yeah. She's
okay.
3 or 4 years younger than me.
Oh, that's not enough. That's not enough into the millennials not to be able to have that excuse to not be using CarPlay, right?
Right.
CarPlay is not hard to use.
Like, none of my cars have it. I shouldn't be buying any cars anytime soon, but when I do, I'm looking for, like, I don't care if it has in-dash nav. Like, I'll just use CarPlay. Now, in-dash nav is nice if you don't have a connection. And
so here's the thing. If you're using your phone for nav and you can switch over to CarPlay or Android Auto, essentially it just puts it in the dash. So you don't have to look at your phone anymore.
Right.
That's all it's doing.
Yeah. It's just mirroring it.
Yeah. Well, it looks nicer.
Yeah.
I will say this. As someone who now has it in 2 vehicles and not in another, so we've got the Ford Sync system and the other one that has in-dash nav. I've got the Chevy that has Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. And the Yukon, the 20-year-old Yukon has wireless.
Yeah.
Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is amazing. I really like how... So it can take the screen and kind of do 3 quadrants. Mm-hmm. The map takes up 2 of them on the left side. My Spotify takes up the bottom right. Mm-hmm. And, like, I don't know why the upper right is there, but...
Probably could put phone or text messages.
Sure. Something else will come up there. But it does it automatically. It's really cool. Yeah. Or I can have the whole screen be the map. I really like it. But it's so easy to use that I can't believe that your sister-in-law can't figure that out.
Yeah, she just bought a Kia. Well, is it the Soul? Is that the one that the hamsters were selling when they first came out? Yeah, she bought one of those.
They've got like the Juke, the Soul, the Seltos. They're all about the same size.
Yeah, but she bought the Kia Soul, and it has CarPlay in it, and it's cool. I drove it just to
Is
See
it
what it's
wireless
like.
CarPlay or wired?
Wireless. I think it's wireless.
Wireless?
Yeah.
Dude, that's the easiest though.
Now the Honda that the in-laws have you have to connect it to it.
Yeah, most like if you've got a car within the last like two-ish years, 3-ish years, it's all wireless.
Yeah.
Like the Chevy is wired, but that's 4-ish years old
Yeah.
now. Which makes the 20-year-old one being wireless even funnier.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I bought that head unit. And it's just a double DIN head unit.
Yeah.
I think I bought it for like $500.
Yeah.
I paid another $25 for Crutchfield to wire it, like with all the harnesses. So literally, all I had to do was pull the old one out. I unclipped it, undid the 2 clips. I clipped it into the 2 harnesses, put it in, screwed it in, and was done.
Yeah.
It was, like that $25 I paid to Crutchfield to do all the wiring for me was phenomenal.
Because I back when I was, I guess the last car I did that with was no, I think I did one for either my sister or my sister-in-law. Well, you have the head unit, and then you get the wiring harness, and then you have to splice the wires together. And
I did that with the RV.
Yeah,
because I needed the connector to the back of the head unit was faulty.
Yeah,
so I basically had to redo the connection to the new plug, and so we cut all the wires, peeled it back a little bit. They have these these sheaths that you can put on, and it's got the solder inside of it. And so you twist your things together. So once you get your wires separated, you throw the sheath on, twist your wires together, put the sheath with the solder right over the connection point. You just use a little bit of a heat gun. It melts right on top. The solder connects everything all together, and you're done. It's so easy to do. Like, you don't have to deal with solder anymore.
Yeah.
It took maybe 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah,
with your Toyota, you should see, like, is it the double DIN size, or is it like the built-in kind of like one you can't do?
What is that? I'd have to look at it.
That'd be like, because that would literally just refresh the car for you.
Yeah, but
because it's a good car.
Yeah.
It's going to last forever.
No,
so you might as well upgrade the thing.
Yeah.
Just so because then once you do that, and if it's wireless, now your Apple Music is playing through the speakers. Yep. Your nav is now on the screen, so you're not looking at the phone anymore.
Yeah.
And then your phone's still available to use for other stuff.
Yep.
Like if you have to text. Now, texting and driving is bad. Don't do that.
Don't violate the law.
Yep. It just updates the car.
Yeah.
So we're like, this is like fresh and new.
I wonder if it's like when no one's going to get the reference, but I'm going to put. So like, if you have an airplane, you replace the steam gauges with like the glass panel system that the multifunction system displays. It's the same airplane, but it's just it feels so much more modern now because you've got the glass cockpit it's still a 1978 Cessna 172, but you've got a glass cockpit in it.
I'm gonna nod and smile and pretend like I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah. There's probably one dude out there that's like, oh yeah, great reference, bud. I get it. So this is for you, homie.
Yeah. Speaking of the Yukon, by the way, and I don't know, did we mention this?
I don't think on the show. I know you.
So I took it back to the transmission place because it was still having that issue. 40 miles an hour, light throttle, kind of a kind of thing. So transmission place. This was the transmission place that said nothing was wrong with it. Took it back. Took the guy on a ride with me. So I made it do it.
Yeah.
He's like, he goes, your torque converter slipping. It's gonna go. They tried the stop slip into the trans fluid. Didn't work. So, and he said, if it doesn't work, bring it back. We'll talk about what we got to do. So, took him on the ride, did it again. And he's like, okay. He goes, the stop slip's obviously not going to work. It was only going to buy you about 6 months anyway. It needs a new torque converter. I'm going to, if we just do the torque converter, I'll put on the beefier torque converter. Because apparently the torque converters that came with the 4L65E for those things and the 4L60E, they couldn't handle the low-end torque. Which is why they end up trashing the torque converters, and they go really. But he goes, but I'm going to put one in where it'll be able to handle the low end torque, especially when the overdrive kicks in, because that's when it was happening. It would happen right when the overdrive kicked in with light throttle. It can't. The torque converter couldn't take the torque, which is odd, right?
Yeah.
So he goes, it's going to be about $1,200 because we got to drop the transmission, need transmission fluid, and all this other stuff. And the transmission fluid, I think, was going to be like almost $200 to do that anyway, because trans fluid's not cheap, and that's a big. It takes a lot of trans fluid. Okay, so he goes, do you plan on keeping the vehicle? I said, yeah. He goes, good. He goes, normally we charge about $3,200 to rebuild the transmission and the torque converter. He goes, but your transmission is fine. He goes, I'll charge you $2,600 to do the rear main seal, the torque converter, beef up the torque converter, and I'll rebuild your transmission so it's the same as a 4L75E. Now, GM never put out a 4L75E. The 4L75 is basically an up conversion to the 4L65, or the 4L60 goes to a 4L70. They never actually made one. The next one they made was like the 6L80. He goes, so I'll upgrade this thing. So I'm essentially going to make it so this thing won't ever have the same issue again.
Yeah.
The torque converter and the transmission will be able to handle the torque from the 6.0 engine. He goes, but I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. I said, and I had already been thinking this. So for me, for an extra $1,400, rather than, if I did the transmission rebuild again, it probably would have been the $3,600 to $4,000 range. Because you're already paying for them to drop the trans.
Yeah.
That's why the torque converter costs so much to begin with. The torque converter itself only costs $250, $300.
Yeah.
But it's $1,000 in labor to drop the transmission and do the fluid changes and all that shit. And so I took him up. I said, yep, let's do it. I know it could have been an upsell. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Because now this solves the problem fully. So I got it back. It drives amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's exactly what I thought it would have been originally. And I even tested it out. We took it on about an hour and a half drive out to Hagerstown to go
Had some
visit
hills.
hills and ups, down, whatever. Drove it back another hour and a half, so 3 hours long distance, no problem. Doesn't overheat. Transmission stays nice and cool. Drives like a fucking dream. I mean, so I'm into it now. The total bill in this car now is $14,500 for a huge 3-row SUV.
Yeah.
The only thing left I could do to it, I mean, obviously I can put wheels and stuff on it. I may right not. Is the paint. So I've got chipping paint. I'm down to bare metal in certain places now. I got two options. One, I can just do a hand paint job because if I really don't care about it. I could go a wrap, which would be about $5,500. I could do a full paint job, which is another $5,500. I can do the spray cans on the spots in white and then clear coat it for like maybe $30. I can just clear coat it and let the metal show.
Yeah.
But it'll be protected from rain and whatnot.
Right.
And I think I'm probably going to try and do the white and then the clear on that, like I did with the roof. And I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to enjoy it. And then the only reason why I would think about getting rid of it is if I can find someone online that's got the XL version. That's perfectly done. That's done like just like mine.
Yeah.
And say, look, if you want the shorty, I want the long one. What if we just do a clean swap?
Yeah.
Maybe $1,000 has to change directions depending on mileage and all this other stuff. That's the only reason why I think I get rid of it. Other than short of like an engine fucking busting on it. But the engine seems fine.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is the end of the Yukon story that's lasted. We've been talking about this thing for 2
Oh, and you're
years.
going to sell it?
I had it up for sale.
I know, and I was like, that's stupid.
And
Thankfully, you came around.
I did. I came around. Well, once people. So I think I had it for sale for like what $5,000, $5,500, and people wanted to offer me $3,000. I'm like, no, fuck this. And then I got frustrated with the repair because no one could figure out what it was.
Yeah.
Then I got frustrated with people offering me $3,000 for this thing. And so I'm glad rather than taking $3,000, I spent the $2,600 to fix it.
Yeah.
I guess the big thing for me was when I went to go put it up for sale, nobody knew what was wrong with it. because the transmission guy told me the transmission was fine.
Right.
Well, now that it's fixed, and it did fix the actual problem, I think it's great. And, I mean, I might do some cosmetic other work to it.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, the interior, the leather is fine. The rest of the interior is super clean, so I don't really know what I would do to that.
Were you having a problem with the seat motors?
Yeah. So the
passenger side one doesn't move, does it?
It does a little. It'll go back and forth.
Okay.
It's got to do with the elevation on the back and elevation on the front.
Yeah.
That's the issue with it. But it's in the passenger seat is in a position. I think it's close to its lowest. Mm-hmm. So tall people can sit there, short people can sit there.
The
it goes back and forth.
I mean, a lot of cars will have first of all, I hate power seats. Mm-hmm. I freaking hate them.
Yeah.
I don't see the power elevation, and where you can tilt the front end up or the back. That's okay. If the feature's there, it's easier with power because you just sit there and because I remember the old Volkswagens. They had it was like a lever.
The pump.
Yeah. It's like, what am I, transferring fuel or something?
Yeah, you're pumping your shoes.
Yeah. But my wife is almost a foot shorter than I am. So the way she drives, the way I drive. So if I have to drive her car somewhere, I go to move it. Even if I'm just trying to move it out of the driveway so the kids can play basketball, I got to stand there. Well, I don't see the need for the power. If it was just manual, there'd be a lever. I'd pull it, slide it back, jump in. So it's always raining or something, and I'm sitting there, and it's raining. Now, she could get in my car, and she's 8 feet away from the steering wheel, but she can sit there and reach down and push. If I can't get into it, because, it's for a short person. I'm not a short person. So I hate power seats. But on the passenger side, to me, the passenger side needs recline and slide forward and back. It doesn't, because you don't need to reach pedals or steering wheel or see over you're just sitting there.
And it should be set low.
Yeah.
Right. Set it to the lowest spots that tall people can sit in it.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to elevate.
No.
No one needs to see over the roof.
What are you looking at?
Or the
the
hood.
What are you, the co-pilot? Are you going to handle this phase of the trip?
So the parts that are broken is lifting the back end of the bottom cushion, but lifting and lowering the front part of the cushion works. It's just that back part.
Yeah.
And it's set all the way to the lowest spot anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it the way it is. And when my wife drives it, she's fine with that too. She just moves it back and forth.
Yeah.
Now the other part I like about it, it's got the memory seats. Mm-hmm. So she's driver 1, I'm driver 2.
Yeah. So I had an Envoy that had that.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
It was cool because it was just the buttons on the door.
Yep.
So and it was, my wife was 1, I was 2. So if I was driving it, I would just hit 2, and it would. Now the newer cars, so my in-laws' car, they have a CRV, the up trim CRV. Mm-hmm. With CarPlay they don't use. But if I use one remote, it moves it to that setting, or the other remote.
Yeah, it links to the remote. Right?
But the problem is, which I don't get, and my parents were the same way. My dad was 6'2", 6'3". My mom was tall. I think she was 5'9" or 5'10". Tall for a lady. They didn't adjust seats. They would just get in and out and drive. My mother and father-in-law, my father-in-law, now he has some injuries and stuff that keep him from standing straight up. But if he were to stand straight, dude's 6'3" or 6'4", he gets in, they get in the car, they don't adjust the seat. I'm like, how are you driving this car? My wife and I, she's midget. I am all the way back. Some
you
cars.
guys have a huge height difference, though.
Yeah.
That's, I mean.
But my mother and father-in-law have a huge height difference, too. And he gets in there, and I'm like, how are you doing this? Me? Nope, all the way back. Pretty much every car I've ever owned or driven is all the way back. I want my space. I drive with my toes. So.
This is going to be funny. You might not find it funny. Whenever I think of you getting into the Fusion that you guys got, I always think of Shaq in the Buick commercial when he gets into the Buick LaCrosse and he's literally sitting in the back seat.
Yeah.
Well, the funny, when I borrowed the car and there was the seat was all the way back, and I sat in it and my toe, I was a little kid. My feet were dangling by the pedals, and I couldn't reach them. I was like, Jesus, I'm like, you should wait a bag. You're in the back seat.
So I bought that car. Had circumstances been different, I would have just bought a truck. But I want to commute in a truck. I didn't want truck gas bills. And when I bought that thing, on the lot, so I was replacing a second car, so I didn't want primary car payment.
Yeah.
And when I looked at, when I was there was a Ford F-350 with an 8-foot box and a crew cab. This thing was huge.
Jesus. You can't park that.
They only wanted $4,000 more for that than they did for and that was older and had higher mileage. So the other considerations were like with the putting fuel in. It was a diesel.
Ooh.
But the considerations I had were like, I'm not trying to commute in this thing because that's what it would have been.
Diesels don't get that bad gas mileage though.
It was all, but the problem was it was a 6.4.
Oh,
it wasn't a 7.3.
Okay.
Oh, it was a 7.3. I would have freaking that's it, and it would have cost $40,000.
Right, that's true.
The 6.4 was a piece of shit motor.
Yep.
The 6.0 or the Sicko was also awful, but at least you could bulletproof a 6.0. You can't bulletproof a 6.4.
Right.
Ford tried to do it in-house, and of course they cut every corner they could, and the 6.4 was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
The 6.7 is a good engine, but it doesn't even sound like a diesel. The 7.3 was the ultimate.
Clacker.
Oh. Rolling coal in it and being a douche. But then my other thought was, my wife is going to play bumper cars with this thing in every parking lot she goes to. Mm. And like, it's one thing if you like love tap, you know, a little Mercedes C-Class with a Ford Fusion. Yeah. It's another thing if you love tap it with an F-350. So,
you're basically crumpling.
You're doing significant damage at parking lot speeds. So let's not do that. So I didn't. I wish I had, but you know.
I will say. So talking about gas mileage on the Yukon on the highway, I got about 15.
Okay.
Around town,
8.
I'm at well then this is going to be good. 12.3.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
they were they were never known for fuel efficiency.
Apparently, there is a tune I can get done that will help it out.
Yeah,
but I think it pushes. I think it goes into overdrive sooner. I don't know, but I mean, and the funny part of it is so I've got the little Equinox, which gets like I think 27 around town.
Yeah.
I should drive that around town, which is 99% of my driving.
Right.
I really should. And I should probably take it on the highway, too, because it gets like 35, 37 miles per gallon. I should really drive that. But I really don't want to.
But it's the Yukon's so much more comfortable.
Oh, it's so comfortable. In my 2-minute commute down to my mother's place, it is the most comfortable 2 minutes I've ever had in a car.
I borrowed, so my buddy had a Tahoe. Same wheelbase, same generation as yours. I'm not sure what year it was.
Because the 900's got those kind of stiffer seats.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But so I borrowed his. My car was in the shop for something, and it was one of those, you know, I didn't want, like, the oldest had just been born. I didn't want my wife to be carless or have to drive me to work. So my buddy was like, hey, just borrow my Tahoe. That's cool. So I borrow it. I'm the type, if I borrow your car, I'm going to bring it back with a full tank of gas. And he didn't know this at all. He's like, I said, yeah, I'll put gas in it. He goes, don't even worry about it. I'm like, nah, I'm going to. So I pick it up. It's got a quarter tank in it. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to bring it back with a full tank. So I take it and I think I had it for 3 days. And I used some gas. Mm-hmm. So I pretty much had to fill it up. I was like, holy shit. Because what is it?
It's about a 20-gallon tank.
Yeah. And it's just like...
It costs you about $70 right now. $3 a gallon, you're probably looking like 60, 65.
And this was 75. This was like 09, 010. No.
So you're looking at...
The oldest was born, so gas was expensive. I mean, I want to say gas was close. It was like $4 a gallon. It's been $80 filling this thing up.
I'll be honest with you, though. I don't even bat an eye.
Yeah.
Because I don't drive so much.
Yeah.
So I do fill it up probably once every other week still, even drive. I mean, and I drive both of them because I don't want the other one just to sit. But I'm putting $150 of gas into that one. The other one only cost me about $30, and I fill that one up every other week.
Yeah.
So between the two of them, I'm at like $210 of gas per week. Mm-hmm. And then my wife's other car, but I don't think that's for the enjoyment I get of driving it. And again, it's not the weird that it's weird saying that because it's not a sports car, right? I'm not getting that kind of enjoyment.
Yeah.
I'm getting old man enjoyment.
So those, when they came out, I mean, I always said that originally it was the K5 Blazer.
Yep.
And then for a while they made a 2-door version of it. They made all the way, I think the 700s had the boxy version, still had a 2-door version you could get.
Yep. I think you're right.
And they dropped the Blazer moniker. They called it it was just a two-door Tahoe. And then that lasted for like a year. Then they just got rid of the 2-door version altogether.
Yep.
The 2-door version only had 1 row of seats. It didn't have 3. Right. So, because who wants to navigate?
It was a short wheelbase too. I think it was trying to compete with the Ford Explorer Sport.
Yeah.
At the time.
So I ended up getting, but like what ended up happening was the Tahoes. You remember like the big Monte Carlos, the big Thunderbirds. Mm-hmm. They call them personal luxury coupes.
Yeah.
It was like Dad's car. Mm-hmm. The Tahoe kind of replaced that. So it wasn't looking for sports car ride.
Yep.
It was looking for some good off the line performance to cut into traffic and stuff and look good. But you weren't going to go to Laguna Seca and race it. It wasn't made for that. And that's what they kind of replaced. So it has that nice ride quality, but still, it's not going to be, you're not turning and burning in that thing.
There's one more car that I want to get.
Okay.
And I think you probably know where I'm going with this because we've talked about this one. I want to get the upscale version of the Lincoln Town Car.
Okay, like the Signature Series?
I want to get the Panther platform.
Yeah.
But I want the luxury version, so I want the Lincoln.
Yeah. You don't want a 9C1 or not P71. You don't want a police package Crown Vic. It'll run forever.
It will. Well, I mean, so will that Lincoln. Yeah. I mean, the Lincoln had the same engine. It had the 4.8 V8. But they were super. They had the Barcalounger seats. Mm-hmm. And I forgot which year it was, but they had like the perfect combination of like digital dashboard, and you could easily swap out a double din.
Yeah.
Like I could put that wireless Android Auto CarPlay thing in there. Yep. Decent sized back seat. The trunk was a little awkward because it was like
it had that well in it.
Yeah, but it holds a ton of shit.
Yeah, because like the rear differential was there, and the fuel tank is above the fuel tank's. It's like a 2-level. It's not Camaro bad, like 3rd gen Camaro bad, but it's a weird. It's got a deep well, and then the spare tire sits up on the hump.
Yep.
So
when you put stuff in it, you kind of got to do the minivan stack.
Yeah.
Like with minivans, there's not much room behind the third row, but there's the deep well.
Yeah.
So you just stack things high, and that's how you get everything in there. Well, you kind of had to do that with the Lincoln too. Or you got everything to the level of the deck, and then you could go flat. Although that tire kind of messed things up, so you could take that out, and you could have the room again.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think I want one of those, and the best part about it is like I think I can get one for like $4,000, sorted, and it'll probably be in good shape. Maybe.
Yeah.
The interiors on those things kind of had a rough life.
Yeah.
Depending on who had them. But that's the next one I want to get. The problem is then I'd be at 4 cars.
You run out of parking.
I would. Well, I mean, I got the road. I got the street.
You do have a garage.
Yeah. I'm never using that for cars.
Who actually puts a car? I think there's one family in the neighborhood, and you'll know exactly where they are. Mm-hmm. They live on the corner of my street and Smitty Street.
On the other side?
It's
because they put theirs in their car.
On my side of the street.
On the other side, they put theirs in the garage.
There's them, and then there's the family that's
opposite.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they put their cars in. You never see a car in their driveway. They live there.
Yeah.
You never see them either, but their cars are in the garage. Yeah, and the lady has the collie, the border collie. She's
Yeah.
Their cars are in at least one of them's in the garage.
I look at them in amazement.
Yeah, most garages are filled with all kinds of stuff but cars.
I have my lawnmower and snowblower in there.
Yeah.
I care more about them than I do about the cars. I mean, the cars are made to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
If I put the riding lawnmower out in the elements,
Oh, it would be trash.
It'd be horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, that lawnmower is 11 years old. Looks brand new.
Yeah.
Because it's been in the garage.
Garage kept.
Yeah, garage kept. I just had a service done to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's $1,000 I don't have to keep spending.
Yeah.
I can just, and I enjoy mowing my lawn now.
Yeah.
I don't have to pay I don't pay anyone. I don't have to walk it. Mm-hmm. Not that it's a huge lawn, but you know, I make it sound like I'm living on an estate.
The acreage.
Yeah. It is a quarter acre.
It's the outfield at Camden Yards.
It's just there's a lot of space on the side
Yeah.
where I felt like if I initially looked for like a wide deck walk behind because I wouldn't mind the walking. I just wanted something that had a wider deck on it.
So you have to take so many passes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was nothing really there until you had to go to like a commercial one, and that was gonna be like $2,000 to $3,000.
Might as well get the rider.
All right, I might as well get the riding mower. And I got it. It was like a scratch and dent at the Sears outlet up in like White Marsh. Drove up there with the U-Haul trailer, and I got it. Drove it home. I mean, $1,000
Yeah.
off. It was like $500 off.
Yeah.
I was like, all right,
Yeah.
working. Now we're working. And then I would, and of course, I would have been lazy as fuck if I didn't have one. I would have paid someone to mow the lawn. I'm that asshole, you know.
I pay the kid next door to mow mine.
Yeah, but he only probably charges like $30.
$20.
You want to know the price quote I got when it broke when I had it when it was broken because the muffler detached. $100 to mow my lawn.
No. Bye.
Yeah, right. I was like, my lawn? It ain't that big, man. Like he would have been done in like 15 seconds with his huge ass mower.
Yeah.
And he was already doing the guy across the street. And like he already does like my cleanup landscaping for me. It's Victor. He's the guy that but he's like quoted me $100. I'm like, I don't think so, man. Like,
Yes.
I don't think you know who this is because there's no way you would have quoted me $100 to do my lawn.
Yeah.
And it's just not that big. Like, I can't believe people paying $100 for a lawn mow. Maybe he just didn't want to do it, and that's kind of what he.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably was it, but I mean, I love him. I'm still going to use him for like all my other landscaping stuff. But I thought that was like, this is like the please go away price.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to do it, so here's $100. But if you give me $100, I'll do it for 15 seconds of my life.
I've had people give me a ridiculous quote because they didn't want to do it. I had tried to get someone to paint because I painted the house, but I couldn't get up like from where the stairs come from upstairs, go all the way up, like 2 stories.
Right.
And he quoted me something insane. I was like, "Thanks, bro."
Yeah, that's like the worst part to do. In the stairwell.
Oh, I hate ladders.
Oh, I don't do ladder. Yeah. I mean, I go third step.
Yeah.
Because like I'll swap like the lights down here. I can just stand up and do.
Yeah.
But we got the ones in the kitchen, like those little guys.
Yeah.
The recessed ones. So I got to go up on like the third step to like pull it down. But I'll do those. Those are. But outside and high, bother.
Yeah.
But inside and high, like that high, like I'd have to like I would need like the really tall ladder to do that. Over stairs too. I mean, that's just asking for a broken back.
Ugh.
You know what I'm saying? Like let someone else break their back that's licensed and insured that can kind of
Right.
All right. Oh, boy, just a way to end the show by blasting someone's ears out with a cough. Well, we appreciate you listening to the show. Hope you found this one funny. Hope you guys can relate to helping your parents, in-laws, grandparents with their technology upgrade into the 21st century. Trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Better their lives.
Yeah.
And just not.
And it's not to make fun of them.
No, no.
It's just the deal with people that they're used to, and I'm sure our children will do the same thing about us when we're.
Change is hard.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, dude. I know change is hard because like I deal with technology and I'm still doing stuff. Like don't get me wrong, I'm still doing stuff in this century, but it's like probably 10 years old type stuff.
Yeah.
Like even like with Excel and Google Sheets, I'm still using like formulas and shit. That probably there's something else out there that does this for me.
Oh, sure.
I just haven't gotten to that point.
Yeah.
So, no, I know I'm going to be at the age sometime when my daughter's going to want to freaking wring my neck because
just
she's
use
had to explain it
AI
7 times.
Yeah, for us it'd be AI.
Right.
Just use AI. I'm not feeding Skynet, damn it.
Dude, it's like having my mom use Hey Google is. Oh, speaking of which, like I love it. I think it's great. But my mom does not. Like, Mom, just ask your phone.
Yeah.
What do you mean? So I know at some point I'm going to get to the point where like the holograph machine, like I'm not going to know how to use it.
Yeah.
Or the food replicator.
Yeah.
Which I would love.
Or I'll be telling the freaking robot butler to go fuck himself so I can do it myself, damn it.
That's right. Rosie the robot
Yeah.
from the Jetsons is going to be a dumbass, not Rosie, who seemed like an actual human and a robot.
Yeah.
So. But we hope you enjoyed this episode. We want to thank Adam Chubbuck with Douglas Realty in Pasadena, Maryland, TACMD.com, TACMD.com. That's TACMD.com. And we'll talk to you next week. We'll probably talk more about what happened with the inauguration. We'll see what kind of shenanigans happen there. Because I think the over-under on destruction is probably, I want to say the betting odds are probably not in the bettor's favor. It's probably 1-2. Bet 50 to win 25.
Oof.
So we'll see if we have something. Hopefully we don't have anything to talk about in that regard. We can just say nothing happened and move on, but I think we all know something's going to happen. We'll talk to you guys next week.